my beautiful partner was wearing, you know, some dazzling makeup, sparkly, loud, you know, and they turn, they do a little spin. Bagheera, our beloved cat, out of nowhere down the hallway, bolts and hisses and runs away and starts growling really loud. And we're like, what the heck? We go over to her and she's hidden underneath the couch, and she is so loud. She is so loud. I mean, like a loud dog, volume wise. We're like, what the fuck is going on? We open up the couch, you know, like pull it from the wall, and she bolts out. We chase her down. We're thinking, did she get like stung by a wasp or something? Because my partner did recently. Maybe one got in the house. Mud wasps in Seattle, you know. Maybe like her paws. We check her paws. We check her nose. We check the inside of her mouth. Nothing, you know. She's really freaking out. She's shaking. She's quivering. We're holding her. Shaking. We call an emergency vet because we're like, you know, I mean, it could just be her being spooked, but like, there's no way. I've seen cats get spooked by nothing before, and they don't get this spooked, you know. But after a couple of minutes, you know, we're giving her the pets and calming her down, and she's fine. She starts purring and rubbing her head against our hands and stuff, and it's like, damn, you really just got scared by my partner in makeup. You just saw some glittery eye makeup and you were like, oh my god, it's a demon. And you flipped the fuck out and meowed loudly for multiple minutes, shaking. God, they're so stupid. Where is she? Love, is Bagheera out? Huh? Yeah, please. The star of the hour. Dog once saw me put on a hat and freak the fuck out once. Yeah. They're so dumb. I've seen cats flip out over nothing before. I'd never seen it that bad. I'm telling stories about you. The star of the hour. You care to explain yourself, little lady? You don't like glitter? Look at this thing. Look at you. Uh-oh. No. Hold on. Sorry, she did a little that we thought might be the beginning of like a little asthma episode. But we've been giving her asthma medicine, and it looks like it stopped. So she's fine. Yippee! She okay? Yeah. Medicine works? I'm hearing this for the first time. She has catsma? Yeah. Chad has abandonment issues. I understand the concern, because from Chat's perspective, whenever a streamer says uh-oh and then like goes off camera, goes out of frame, you expect to see like a bunch of SWAT officers running through a minute afterwards, you know? Uh-oh. Go! You fuck, yeah. DoorDash or SWAT, you know, flashbang grenade goes in the room. No. Just Bagheera having a little cough, but she's fine. How do you spell Bagheera's name? I don't know if I can say it out loud. Bagheera, right? It's like the cat, the famous cat. Clavicular kiss to T-girl. I was saying this the other day. I think I said this on stream as well, but the cultural victory of homosexuals and transgender people in the West is not defined by their legal rights, though that's definitely part of it, but rather defined by their social acceptability. And in spite of how much backlash there has been against trans people in the past decade, one fact, Jesus Christ, they're eating each other. One fact remains, which is that if you are homophobic or transphobic, your busted ass is not getting near the club. The baddies won't want to talk to you. You're not getting laid. You're a loser. Homophobia and transphobia are super, like, disgusting, sweaty chud coated. Very, like, skid marks in your white underwear coated. Whereas even if you're personally reactionary, if you're, like, cool being around gay and trans people, you're in all the clubs, man. It's, okay, unironically, it's like how back in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, racism was really, really common, but you could tell that black people were on the up and up culturally because white people were all finding excuses to go to Harlem to check out the cool clubs. Social acceptability is the precursor to, like, total legal acceptance. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you've got the white man's balls in a vice when you have like the children of homophobic businessmen, or not homophobic, sorry, racist businessmen running down to Harlem that like cut the rug over at like a jazz club. You know what I mean? Like, you can be openly racist, but then you're not getting into the good clubs. Cis girls wish they were one of the dolls. Have you seen that fucking non-binary discourse? What? No? Now, that one clip that the trans women were seething over? Where is that? I found it.
This whole narrative online that it's like there's no one way to look non-binary, and I agree with that. No, however, it seems like there is a way to look non-binary because Carbon is getting they them'd and neither of us are.
Yes.
So what the fuck is up?
Give me whatever's in your wardrobe that is making the magic happen. The bandana on the neck.
Is the misconception that it's like it is androgyny?
I think it's
I believe
that.
it is. For example, if you see somebody that has a masculine figure, they have a lot of body hair, maybe they have a little beard, but they have long hair and they're wearing a dress. I think majority of people would be like,
They them.
they them.
They walk into the room and then suddenly
I have to read the post out loud. Cis-sexual NBs realizing being the equivalent of a bricky trans woman will get you reflexively they'd like they just discovered Newtonian physics. That's not exactly semantically correct, but we can roll with it. Still, a lot of trans women are super mad at this clip. You didn't have to read it out loud. I feel like if I didn't read it out loud, nobody would be able to parse the text, you know? Buzzword sandwich. I think the place you're getting these buzzwords from might be bad for you. What does that mean? I've seen some trans women who are bitter that these non-transsexual NBs are being like, well, the best way to get clocked as they them is to be AMAB in a dress. And they say it's insensitive. I don't know, it's complicated. I don't, I'm very much an outsider looking in on this one. Is clocked good or bad? Well, that depends. If you're a trans woman, it's probably bad. But if you're a non-binary AFAB, maybe it's good. Kind of depends. Sort of a grass is always greener thing. It's all right. Cissexual is a big trans medicalist tell. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, right? Not all non-binary people want to transition. I mean, if we use transsexual, and I use transsexual. But yes, it does correlate heavily with miserable TTTT users. That is true. In a 5-4 decision, just barely, by a single vote, the Supreme Court has decided to not allow Trump to overturn our elections and send us spiraling down an authoritarian, you know, water park slide for the rest of time. Supreme Court rules states can count late arriving mailed ballots rejecting Trump-led challenge. So the gist of it is that the Trump administration wanted to hit us with a classic 1-2 punch. For one, don't count late arriving mailed ballots. And for two, let the USPS fuck with mailed ballots, ensuring that they arrive late in areas where you don't want votes to be counted. You get me? So like, say you have a very blue-leaning area in a state. USPS is controlled federally. The Postmaster General's a chud. You fuck with the USPS, you get them to deliver the mail late. Oh, it's just an accident, you know? Turns out a bunch of blue votes show up late. Now you don't count them. But in a 5-4 decision, by one vote, the Supreme Court decided not to do that. How nice. It is very good. It is very good news. As you can see, a glut of mostly blue states here allow absentee and mail-in ballots to be counted as long as they're postmarked for Election Day, even if they arrive late. Not as much of an issue here in flyover states. It is good news. If the Supreme Court had ruled in the other direction, I want to be straightforward. Okay, maybe I'm not selling the severity of this. If the Supreme Court had ruled in the other direction and said that all of these purple states have to throw out those ballots if they arrive after Election Day, I would say that it's actually done. Like, the country is done, like, genuinely. I would mean that. That would mean potentially millions of votes in blue states would not be counted. I would just say it's done. It would be like, okay, it's been fun. Just move out. Like, you have to move to a different country. You have to flee to Mexico. That would be my take there. So good that the Supreme Court didn't rule in that direction by one vote. The administrative state, these regulatory agencies, we've talked about this before, but just to rehaps, for those of you who aren't American or who don't remember, these are more important than Congress. Congress has for decades basically not been able to do anything due to partisan gridlock and general, like the ineffectiveness of our system, where you can, send a bill back and forth, have it earmarked and inflate every bill, have 1,000 rider bills on it. Congress doesn't do anything except like reaffirm the same budgetary framework year over year, right? It is the executive branch's administrative state. The departments, the administrative state oversees, that meaningfully determine a lot of the changes coming out of the federal government. If you want to explore this from a really distanced, like, actually the downfall of America was encoded in its founding principles kind of way, the best way to do that here would be to say that the existence of the administrative state, the fact that regulatory agencies in practice have had more of an effect on the application of federal law than Congress itself, was always a capitulation to systems other than democracy. That if America was truly democratic, we would have emboldened and empowered Congress to pass laws, we would have increased the number of seats, we would have abolished the Senate, we would have done stuff to make Congress the primary body by which the federal government changes the nature of the laws that it enforces. But rather, we did this through administrative appointments, we did this through the presidential authority, we did this through regulatory bodies. Now, in practice, we needed those regulatory agencies to have the power they did because Congress is so useless. But that's the concession I'm talking about. We should have empowered Congress decades ago. This problem's been going on for a long time. And here we are, here we are. Do you think this was a failure of FDR? It's a failure of a lot of people. Maybe it was inevitable. I don't know. It's hard to say. You want Congress to be a regulatory agency? No, I want Congress to be the institution that passes laws in the United States, ideally. When in practice, what they do right now is defer a lot of power to the executive, and then the executive, through the regulatory agencies, just like unilaterally determine policy, which is a worse system, in my opinion. I think that is a worse system. Who then, if not Congress and not the administrative state, is supposed to regulate? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm fine with the concept of executive regulation. The problem is that right now, in practice, Congress doesn't actually, do anything. They don't pass federal laws, at all. Here, you can look through American history. Think of all of the landmark decisions the federal government has made. Not the Supreme Court, the other branches, right? With regards to changes in our legal policy, in our code, in what the federal government is concerned with and how they enforce those laws. If you go back 100 years, Congress passes this, Congress passes that. Under FDR, Congress. Well, I mean, they held up a bunch of stuff. But, before FDR even more, Congress. They did stuff. But now you take a look at the past, let's say 80 years, and overwhelmingly it is the federal government passing regulatory changes unilaterally. I don't have a problem innately with the presidential cabinet or the administrative branches that they control. I have a problem with the total deference of power to the executive branch, thus emboldening the unitary executive theory that the Heritage Foundation has pushed in an effort to make Trump a god. It's not good, Then why even advocate for progressives in Congress? I don't understand what you mean. Are you suggesting that because Congress is a weak and ineffective institution, that means we shouldn't have good people in it? Is it you think it's better to have evil people in it? What do you mean? Doing nothing is worse. Yeah. It'd be nice if Congress was effective, but Congress can take back that power. Well, I don't know about that. Why live? Why make the bed when you're just going to undo making the bed later at night? Why put on sunscreen? Why poop? You're just going to eat. What the fuck am I looking at here? Fashion posting. On my politics stream? Just give me a sec. Expensive isn't a brand. It's how you put everything. Old money shit. God damn it. I hate old money shit so fucking much, dog. Ugh. Yeah, man, nothing's more old money than a close-up camera flash in your damn watch. Twice in the same 8-second clip. And having your bottommost button buttoned? Ridiculous. These people are such LARPers. Boring-ass outfit? Yeah, no kidding. Old money shit is always so fucking boring. What's that, money talks, wealth whispers? And it's like, well, just throw a sweater over your shoulders? Ridiculous. These people, these clowns, these fools. The last one was okay? It varies. Of these, the best looking guy is this one by far. This guy actually demonstrates an understanding of taste that, well, I don't want to hate on these random guys. I mostly just hate the fucking Twitter posts where they're like promoting the old money shit. Also, I don't like this clip. It's fine. Number 3 would be fine if he didn't have slim fits. Yeah, probably should be wearing something a little bit baggier in the pants. It's all good. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Flash drought? Holy shit. Is this in France? This looks like France to me. Look at that. That's bad. 26th of May, 2026 versus 23rd of June, 2026. Look at that. That got dry real quick. Like, in a month. How will this affect the wine? What if it makes it better? The fake columns at the Great American State Fair are something to behold. Look at that. They don't even touch the ground. That's fucking crazy, man. Just taped it on. Meanwhile, in San Diego, they slapped this together in 4 years as a temporary site for the 1915 Panama, California Exposition, but it was so popular it became a permanent feature of the city. Look at that. I've been here. Very, very pretty. San Diego, by the way, is what people say LA is. Like, San Diego is actually consistently built in a Spanish missionary, like, Mesa style, you know? Beautiful, you know, wildly, like, pleasant, temperate, you know, lots of nice beaches. San Diego is what people say. LA is disgusting. Happened with the atomium here in Belgium. This was built initially for a temporary thing? Huh. We discovered the atom. Nerdy ass statue. Thoughts on Orange County? I just shit my pants. That was my, if you were here you'd smell it. That's my thought on Orange County. What's with the LA hate? Well, unfortunately I had the mispleasure of having been born there and lived there for like 22 years. Yeah, dog, what's with the Hitler hate? Come on. Trump said communists are more dangerous than 9/11 at Pearl Harbor. Oh, who cares what Trump thinks about fucking...
Mr. President, Zoran Mamdani said in an interview this week that he was open to being the poster child for socialist candidates. Are you worried about more socialist candidates across the United States?
I think it's a big threat to our nation, actually. Because it's not socialism, it's really communism. They use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about. I think it's the biggest threat to our nation there is, maybe since our founding. That includes World War I, World War II, September 11th. It includes the Pearl Harbor attack. I think this is the biggest threat to our nation. People will smile when I say that, but the smart people are going to say, you know, he's probably right. It's basically introducing communism into the United States of America. There's never been anything so dangerous. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
No, that's the closer? That's the closer there? Oh, okay. Sure. Whatever. This isn't a shocking take from him. Republicans have been saying this over and over and over again for decades. Decades and decades. It's so fucking annoying that the most sophomoric, like, middle school tier insult you can levy at our system with regards to its propensity for corruption is, well, we don't have corruption because we legalized it and called it lobbying. But that's literally what it is. Like, it's true. Yes, we did just carve out specific legal pathways to do corruption so that it's not, because corruption definitionally is illegal. So if it's legal, it's not corruption. It's just annoying that it's so sophomoric, right? It's like, it's such a, like, I don't know, high school 14-year-old position to hold, but it's also true, right? Corruption and lobbying and things adjacent to lobbying, right? There's a bunch of stuff that fits in this category, like, you know, regulatory capture or people getting jobs as corporate board members after they leave politics, whatever, that serve effectively exactly the same purpose as, you know, bribes, right? Like, what meaningfully is the difference between bribing a politician to tell them, you know, to get them to vote for what you want them to vote for versus saying, if you vote for this, when you don't run for re-election next year, you get to be on our board. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's literally just a deferred bribe. Devil's advocate, bribes tend to mean under the table / secret donations, whereas legal donations are supposed to be public. Sure, but that kind of implies that if your state reaches a level of corruption that's so obvious that it's basically open, that it stops being corruption. Like, would that mean that an African warlord stops being corrupt if the money they take, like, no one can do anything about it, so they just take it openly? Like, I don't know. It's like, I agree. I agree that there is a difference, but it seems to serve the same basic outcome. So, yeah, I don't know. Nobody's capitalist. Capitalism is the default economic modality. It is not something the vast majority of voters are actively advocating for. The average person in America, by which I mean like genuinely over 99% of the population, do not know anything about capitalism or socialism and are only really familiar with the Overton window within capitalism of government intervention. How much does the government regulate? How much does the government do this? How much do they do that? That's like what they're aware of. Very few people are active ideological advocates for any particular economic system, because that usually is like a position relegated to the, the intellectuals, the academics. I mean, it's a complicated system, Importantly, the Democratic Party has never made it a part of their platform to be explicitly pro-capitalist, because, again, it's like a fish being explicitly pro-water. The water comes with being a fish. If you run out of water, you've got bigger problems. Democrats don't need to. The system was always capitalist. The Democratic Party has always existed in a capitalist system, right? There's never been an alternative. So the idea now that like the position some centrists are taking, that the Democratic Party has always been explicitly a pro-capitalist party, is just not true. You've just taken it to be the default. Your arguments aren't going to land because the average Democrat is favorable to socialism. Mind you, the term socialism, right? Like, they don't know what socialism is. They're favorable to the term because they think the term is like, I don't know, socialized healthcare. Like, that's what socialism is, There was an unlearning economics video that talked about how economists suck ass at evaluating poverty, happiness, quality of life. Most economists, most liberal economists, cannot explain why consumer confidence is so low right now. Genuinely. Consumer confidence, the measure of how confident Americans feel in their future economic prospects. It is a very important statistic for determining stuff like reinvestment, consumer spending, savings. But a lot of economists legitimately don't have a model for it. Like, it's not explained by average wages, employment, unemployment, the stock market. The metrics they're most concerned with don't explain people's feelings. But people's feelings are still predictable, right? There are variables that you can look at to account for this. They're just not ones that liberal economists tend to focus on. Keep in mind that the hollowing out of the American economic experience applies to everyone who isn't in like the top 1%. Even if you're making $250,000 a year, that does not in any way, shape, or form free you from the fundamental instability that's being referred to. Is $250,000 a year enough to live comfortably pretty much anywhere in the US? Absolutely it is. But that doesn't change the fact that one medical mishap, one firing, one like shift in your circumstances can potentially tank you. And $250,000 a year is, in a lot of cases, not going to be enough to buy, well, you can buy like a nice property in a lot of places, but still, I'm setting the bar pretty high here at $250,000. That underlying instability is what a lot of people are anxious about. You know what I mean? Right now, the smartest way to live your life in America is spend nothing, save every dollar you can. This is very bad for the economy because no one's spending money. And just pray that nothing fucked up happens to your finances. Don't get sick, don't get cancer, don't get into a car accident, save every cent you can, and maybe you'll be able to weather a couple of months if you get fired. Hope you can get a new job that pays as good as the old one. There's no stability. There's no sense that you can weather tough times. We used to have more job security, now we don't. Oh yeah, don't have kids. You know how expensive childbirth is? I'm in favor of us getting the concept of democracy in the divorce because I really do not think that centrist Democrats believe in democracy at all. And I would really appreciate it if the American electorate could understand that, in terms of directly relating to and serving the needs of the people, we're your guy. We actually give a shit. Vaush constantly whining this group or that group shouldn't vote. Yeah, I think that democracy functioning well is contingent on the assumption that people who are voting are, one, at least somewhat aware of their own self-interest, two, educated enough to make decently well-informed political decisions, and three, are not actively malicious. They have to be, you know, signers of the social contract, right? So yeah, I don't really have a problem with people who are openly in favor of the end of the world not being able to vote, which would describe every evangelical and Zionist, every committed Zionist, I'll say, not like Brad Lander types. Yeah, no, for sure. Any Republican is definitionally not competent enough to be allowed to vote. This is a very basic, like, pro-democracy viewpoint, by the way. It's the reason why public education was promoted in the, you know, in the United Kingdom, here in America. The idea that if you're going to have people vote, like, they had better at least have some ability to make an informed decision. Not to say that was the only motivation for public education, but it's a pretty good one. Philosophically, you want people to be able to make these decisions, you know, somewhat well. Just, yeah, I don't know. I value the concept of democracy. I just don't think the underlying conditions right now are good. They're not producing good outcomes, you know? I'm an outcomes guy. I like outcomes. You don't get to choose dinner after you pick poison. Yeah, exactly, you know? We know what these people want, and I don't agree with it. So the problem is the people, not the system. Well, the system produces the tendencies in the people. The goal of the Republican Party has been to shift the circumstances in the system to produce people that are okay with the system being made worse. So it's, you know, a cyclical process, I think. Hey, kind of, I've had this sitting on my desktop for like 2 weeks because I keep forgetting to do anything with it. You want to see something cool? I got an email a while back from somebody, an artist, who said that they were inspired by that 2-hour stun lock that we did on a potential male maid uniform. Look at the, I guess I'm going to call it fan art. Look at the fan art they did. They were too shy to post it to the Reddit, which I think is kind of cute, you know? But look at that. See, because we were talking about like what a male, like, not, because we were talking about maid uniforms, which are very feminine, obviously, like the French maid uniform. And then it was like, well, what's the male equivalent? And there isn't a male equivalent because this was specifically a female designated uniform for a female designated position. Because like a male equivalent would incorporate elements of menswear. It wouldn't just be a guy wearing a women's maid outfit. And this to me looks pretty dang good, doesn't it? This looks like if you were to socially designate like a job. No, not the butler. The butler's a different job. Butler isn't just a male maid. Why is he mocking? He is kind of mocking you a little bit. Yeah, though it's worth remembering that by virtue of being a maid, he's actually like of a lower social station, and you could pretty much wipe your shoes on his apron if you wanted to. But he do be mewing though. This is great. This is great. I love this sort of creative imagination. Why is this image on your desktop? To remind me to show it to chat. I put it on the desktop to go like, you know, I'll show it to chat. I just saw it because when I closed the Discord, the Discord window, I saw it on my desktop. Butler's little middle management. Butler is the highest tier of management for the household. We don't need to get into this, you know. I'm just saying that I like this a lot. That's all. It's like how a pantsuit is traditionally male outfit, but tailored to fit women, but in reverse. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, this might be right up my alley. Can we take a look at this anti-suburb video after we see Thomas Massie call a Fox reporter gay?
Anything you could say.
So let me ask you, I heard that you like gay porn. Is that true?
Congressman, I'm not. I just want to give you a chance. Your side.
I'm giving you a chance to give me your side.
I'm not going to get into
Are
that.
you a real news organization or not? No, come back, man. All you got to say is you don't like it. That you haven't been to those websites.
Of course I don't. Of course I don't like it.
Really?
But thank you.
That's not what I heard.
Thank you for your time. Yeah, that was my. Just giving you a chance to respond. That's all. No.
Man, he got dejected so quickly there. Holy shit. Make me a reporter. If somebody was like, hey, do you like gay porn? I'd be like, yes. Now, can you answer the question? But he just falls flat and walks away.
And you're with Fox?
But thank you.
Is that a real news organization?
Yep.
Is this what you do for a living, man?
Congressman,
it's funny how Thomas Massie's been ulting ever since he lost his primary. Like, he knows there's no point in having to cater to Republicans anymore, and he just fucking hates the party. Voyeuristic Fox reporter Nicholas Balassi, unsure and uneasy when questioned about alleged gay porn watching habit. I don't even know what Thomas Massie's referring to. I just think it's fucking funny. Here's the full video, not the out of context version. Post the congressman. Okay, here's the other half.
I want to know if you could clear up the stuff your ex is saying about you with the NDA, that you pressured her to sign an NDA for wrongful termination. What is that true? What she's saying about you?
Who are you with?
With Fox Digital.
It's all false.
And what she said about you and Boebert having an intimate relationship.
It's all false.
Why do you think she's out there saying it? Was it because of the primary, ahead of the primary? What do you think is motivating it?
When did you all become a tabloid? Seriously, dude.
Well, no, I just thought I would give you a chance to respond because you've never been able to tell your side of the story, that's all. But anything you could say.
So let me ask you.
There we go.
I heard that you like gay porn. Is that true?
I just want to give you a chance, your side of it. That's no, I'm not going to get into that.
Are you a real news
I'm not going to get into that.
No, come back, man.
No.
You don't like
Congressman.
that you haven't been to those websites.
Of course I don't. Of course
That's
I don't like
so fucking
it.
funny.
But thank you.
That's not what I heard.
Thank you for your time. Just giving you a chance to respond, that's all.
What a power move. You should be able to do this anytime a reporter ever bothers you, man. Folded immediately. Gotta have that one in the chamber if a hater ever ganks you IRL. Yeah. Truly one of the top tier techniques. Accuse the reporter of being a pedophile. Oh, what if Thomas Massie had just started screaming, "Rape, help me," after pulling up the phone? It's Fox Digital. You can do whatever the fuck you want, man. Fuck these people. Dude was genuinely like, how does he know? Yeah, it's kind of crazy Thomas Massie like recognized him like that, considering he's just some, unexceptional looking, dipshit in a bad suit. Of course I remember, Minimar. Of course I remember. This man came here to meet a 14-year-old. Oh, playing the like the pedo hunter card. You pull out your phone. This guy thought he was meeting a 12-year-old, but it's actually me, Thomas Massie, Republican congressman. Why? And then you start like making up messages between the two of you. Why not? Why not? Fuck these people. Gooner physiognomy. That's true. He does have gooner physiognomy, doesn't he look like a repressed gay man? Like, if he could accept his lifestyle, he would have a full head of hair. He wouldn't have these, like, sunken eyes. But he looks like, he looks like he has a wife, but he's DL posting on Grindr. He's sissy posting on Grindr, for sure. To be fair, accusing a Republican of being gay will come with a high chance of credibility. Yeah, of course. But, like, all powerful people are bisexual. It's been known for a long time. It's like vampires. Imagine a vampire being straight. Ridiculous. Do you think the effort at community changes are going well? Community changes. Oh, you mean when I was rambling about the Silk Song stream? You know what? By and large, yes, I do think so. I do think that. Maybe I'm just feeling a little bit more peppy these days, but I do feel that. Every once in a while, I get into a little dip where I feel like I'm not even communicating with chat. I just feel like chat's just running right over or perhaps under my head, Oh yeah, Hollow Knight, not Silk Song. But lately I feel like we've been on one, So I'm happy. What am I gonna do? Complain? I've got a great job. Going to Barcelona was really good for you? Yeah, I think so. I think it expanded my creative imagination a little bit. Like it reminded me of the potential. I was pleased seeing a lot of pushback in the YouTube comments on the latest BTC video that was titled "Trump is done now." I'd actually be interested in seeing that really quickly, kind of like a little wrap-up segment, because I genuinely think it's like really disgusting to listen. I don't like the idea of lying to your audience for personal gain. Obviously, that's kind of like a broad position of mine, but I think it's like especially I don't know, like damaging to the psyche of liberals that they get pushed this media where it's like, hey, listen, Trump is failing, Trump is fucked up, Trump is bad at his job, he's incompetent, they're stupid, but they still keep winning over and over and over again. Which video are you referring to here? So like Vance is humiliated, Epstein update that could land Todd Blanche in jail. U.S. Supreme Court drops bomb on Trump. The whole internet's laughing at Trump over this announcement. It really does seem like, I mean, you watch this stuff and it seems like the conclusion you would derive is that the Trump administration is like failing in their task of undoing American democracy, but they're really not, you know? It's all bullshit. They've been doing this stuff since 2016 every day. Trump is finished. 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 But like, he's not. Trump makes bombshell confession, leaves his own party furious. Listen, I'm not like fundamentally opposed to clickbait titles, but it's not just the title. The title is just the title. Titles are going to be clickbait. I understand that. It's that if you look at the totality of this content, the impression that you get is that the Republicans are on the back step everywhere. And they, Brian Tyler Cohen, deliberately paints a narrative that does not include A, the fact that they're winning, and B, the fact that the Democratic Party is consistently failing to meet the moment, you know? It's like a narrative designed to make people crazy. J.D. Vance has disaster interview, Trump reflecting pool disaster, shocking ballroom news, Republicans abandon Trump in shock update. How many times have you said that? They don't care. Trump gets bad news, fatal mistake, Trump prosecutors now facing criminal contempt. Michelle Obama embarrasses Trump. Crowd erupts as Obama deals blow to Trump. Republicans abandoning Trump. No, they fucking haven't. It's not even like a politics channel, man. It's literally like a Trump bad channel, which like, yeah, I know. And his channel's been like this for 4 years, dude. I don't watch this crap. I think that it's really, really damaging. It's disgraceful. I think that it's very manipulative to the people who watch it. Finally, Republicans abandon Trump in shock update. Nah, it's nothing. It's nothing. I don't know. Maybe this is all people want. Vaush may have clickbait titles, but the difference is content is tolerable. Well, I'd like to think that the difference is that my content represents kind of like the totality of my political thought. And it's not just punditry. I talk about lots of stuff. And my thinking reflects like a holistic view of the world. What I mean, I don't mean that I know everything. I don't. What I mean is that like, I think that if you watch my content, you learn enough about American politics and to an extent global politics, though less so. I focus mostly on America, that you can have like a broader understanding of these systems. Whereas the stuff Brian Tyler Cohen shits out feels like it's designed to provide exactly one emotionally satisfying narrative. You know what I mean? Watching him will not give you a broader understanding of how American politics works or is functioning. You get tidbits of information on policy or on like how electoralism works or whatever in the service of providing that narrative, but you do not get like a broader understanding. In a way, it's kind of reflective of the difference between the Democratic Party and the DSA, where the Democratic Party is like a technocratic organization that rewards its members with patronage and exists ultimately to serve a very narrow understanding of politics. Electoralism, policy, that's it. Whereas the DSA, by being a member of the DSA, you're not just engaging in that narrow slice of politics, you are trying to build a holistic view of how politics works, of how power works, beyond just like, you know, here's how you win this specific election. You know what I mean? So join PV instead of the DSA. Benjamin, they're literally not mutually exclusive. If you go anti-DSA posting, you're going to get some negative words from me. Be part of DSA and PV. 100%. Absolutely. I'm just memeing. I'm just making sure. SFDSA sucks, though. Yeah, well, so does the San Francisco Democratic Party. You know, we have to put the work in no matter what.